When you think about fighting something as huge and serious as youth radicalization, what comes to mind? Probably security experts, right? Or online watchdogs. But what if one of the most effective tools wasn't in some government building, but on a basketball court or a football field? Okay, let's dive into this.
I know, it sounds like a massive leap. How can a simple game, something we just see as fun and competition, possibly stand up to the dark pole of extremist ideas? Well, that's the big question we're going to tackle today, and it's all based on the amazing work of a project that's connecting youth workers all across Europe. But first, before we can really get the solution, we've got to get a clear handle on the problem itself. And we're talking about youth radicalization, a threat that's, well, it's only getting more widespread and a lot more complicated. So, what exactly are we talking about here? At its core, radicalization is this process where young people get pulled towards extremist ways of thinking. And here's the key thing: the root cause often isn't just about politics, it's way more personal than that. Yeah, and this isn't some single one-size-fits-all issue. Radicalization can be fueled by social problems, religious extremism, political agendas, you name it. And these days, the internet, with all its echo chambers and rabbit holes, has become a super accelerator for all of it. But you know, the common thread running through almost every case is this deep, profound feeling of not belonging. When young people feel cut off, invisible, and like their voice doesn't matter, they become so vulnerable to groups that promise them a purpose, an identity, a community, no matter how toxic it might be.
And that feeling of belonging, that's exactly where sports can come into play. Which brings us to this project called Not Just a Game. And let me tell you, they are pioneering a totally different way of looking at sports in youth work.
So this slide really lays out a fundamental shift in thinking. The whole project is about moving away from this idea of sport as just pure competition, winning at all costs, us versus them, and moving towards using sport as a tool for inclusion. So the focus shifts from winning to cooperation, from division between teams to dialogue between people. It's no longer about cutting the kids who aren't the best players. It's about connecting everybody. And this quote from the team just nails it. This isn't just some nice idea they talk about. It's about actively building inclusive habits every single day, both on and off the field. It's about turning the game into a practice ground for a better, more inclusive society. So, how do they actually do this? I mean, it's not as simple as just telling a coach, hey, be more inclusive. No, they've actually developed a concrete training program, a real playbook for prevention. Their whole strategy is built on three main pillars. It's a really smart, comprehensive approach that tackles the problem from all angles, from the digital world to the locker room to the coach's own mindset. Let's break them down. Okay, first up, they go right after the online threat. We live in a world where extremist ideas can be disguised as a funny meme or spread like wildfire through gaming communities. So teaching young people how to spot manipulation and think critically about what they're seeing online, that is an absolutely vital first line of defense. Then, step two is all about the social environment. This is where they give youth workers and coaches the actual tools, like nonviolent communication, to handle conflicts in a constructive way. Think about it. A small disagreement on the court doesn't have to blow up. Instead, it can become a chance to actually practice listening and build some real understanding. And finally, step three is all about leadership. Coaches and youth workers are such powerful role models, so this part of the training helps them see that being an ethical mentor isn't just about enforcing rules. It's about actively showing fairness, respect, and accountability. Of course, a playbook is only as good as how it performs in a real game. So, what did the coaches and youth workers who actually went through this training have to say? What were the real lessons from the field? This piece of feedback goes right back to that core idea, that big mindset shift. The folks on the ground totally confirmed it. This relentless focus on competition can actually fuel a lot of negative feelings. The real power, it's in fostering cooperation. And this quote, wow, this one really hits hard. One participant basically said that for policies to actually work, they have to be based on reality, what's happening on the ground, not on some imaginary scenario cooked up in an office. They need to listen to the people who are out there every single day. And the feedback brought up another huge lesson. You can't create successful programs for young people without listening to them. They have to be active partners in this whole process, not just passive subjects that a program happens to.
So, the biggest takeaway here is that this isn't a job that just falls on the coaches. Preventing radicalization means we have to build a resilient team that goes way, way beyond the sports field.
It truly takes a coordinated, community-wide effort. You've got coaches, teachers, policymakers. Everyone has a part to play. They all need to be working from the same playbook, talking to each other, and collaborating in a real way.
Exactly. Like another participant said, this problem can't be solved in a bubble. You have to break down the walls between different professions and organizations to create a truly united front.
And that really brings us to the bottom line. Whether you're on a sports team or you're part of a community, the fundamentals are the same. A team built on trust, mutual respect, and a shared sense of belonging. Well, that's the strongest possible defense against the forces that are trying to tear us apart. Which leaves us with a final question to think about. This isn't just about winning a game, right? It's about strengthening the very fabric of our communities. So the real question is, what team will you help build?